Hmm. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, depending on where you are in the world and what time you're watching me. I'm Gaia Morrissette, your holistic sexual wellness specialist, as well as your high priestess of divine sexual magic and your guardian of elemental magics and all things magical of love and light. Welcome to Transcendent Thursdays, where I show up as my magical goddess self. So if you're not accustomed to that and that's not your jam, then I lovingly invite you to go visit me tomorrow. Come visit me tomorrow or on Wednesdays. Thursdays is when I show up fully and completely as my magical being. All right, so couple different housekeeping things before we get into our topic this morning. One, please remember to join the Transcendent Thursday list. I will put it in the comments below. This way you'll have access to all the free replays in one convenient location, as well as get some pretty cool free gifts from me for that. And two, if you are not, if you're just meeting me for the first time, I have co-founded with amazing, powerful, magical being named Lady Shadow Raven, and we co-created a wonderful school called Divine Alchemy School of Magic, where we have all sorts of different varying programs about your journey and supporting your awakening and your healing of who you are as a magical being in the world, all things magic. And so please check us out at divinealchemy.guru for all of those details. All right. And if you want to personally get a hold of me, you can reach me at succulentliving.com. All right, let's have a conversation about what staying in the flow with the universe. So before I get into that, I'm going to define, I want to define what each part is. So the universal love and light is basically all things of love and light that are moving with the best intentions. And it's an encompass of all beings, spirits, dimensions, all things in the universe. Universe is huge of love and light. Oh, thanks for the love. And that is what the universe of love and light is. Okay. It's everything. Everything from the tiny little amoeba to the galaxy. Okay. And being in the flow with that is where you are completely a conduit and connected to all of that cosmic understanding, knowledge. It also allows you to tap into the universal library of all things and knowing all things. And being in the flow with that means that you're completely aligned and connected all the time with that. I like to look at it as a river. And you can be dropped in the river and be in that flow, or and I like to say be the stick, you know, where I'm the stick and I'm just floating along the river of the universal love and light in the universe, and wherever I'm supposed to be, whatever's supposed to be happening, I just trust, I surrender, I am just here as to go along for the ride. And I'm just floating down the river and I'm bobbing, I'm floating, I'm bobbing, I'm floating. I might take a little, be stuck in a little swirl for a while of the current, but I need to be there for a while, and then it'll poop me out, it'll kick me out. And then I'll start floating again. And I'm always perfect. Everything's perfect. So that's being in the flow, okay? Being human. Being human is actually not easy to do and be in the flow. Those are like being human. That's kind of why we're in this human form, to learn about the human experience. However, that being said, as humans, we like to control everything. We like to obsess about things. We like to worry about things. We like to get stuck in our minds all the time. So surrendering and being in that flow is a really uncomfortable place for most of us a lot of times, because we've been taught to not surrender and to not trust and to not trust ourselves and not trust our instincts and not trust that the world is filled with magic and not trust the universe and not trust, not trust, not trust. So because we don't trust, we can't feel safe. And if we can't feel safe, we can't surrender. And so that's part of being the human. The human part is learning to get out of the way and surrender and let go of control and just be as and allow it to be. We are kind of like in the animal kingdom. We are more like beavers where we control and change our environment versus, the, what do I want to say? Versus other animals which just adapt to whatever's happening. We are not good adapters, human beings. It's one of the gifts that allows us to be so resilient, or we are so stubborn, and that we can overcome many, many, many things. And we evolve, we're continually evolving, which is awesome. But it's also in that, so it's finding the balance between your cognitive, your cognitive skill sets and surrendering and just being and trusting the universe. And so that's a hard balance it's a hard dance to do. So that being said, you have to choose it, which is why, as being human, we are allowed to do that. We can do that. We're capable of doing that. If we were just kind of like, we just didn't really think about that kind of stuff, we would just kind of be like, whatever. We would just be stuck in whatever course things decided for us. But the beautiful thing about being human, and the thing that's challenging about being human, is that we can cognitively make a new choice. We can choose to be in the flow, or we can choose to come out of the flow. If we fall out of the flow, we can come back and choose to go back into the flow. And so that is where, where it gets, that's the beautiful thing. Okay, what else do I want to say about that? So here are a couple of tools that I have found very helpful. When I am the conduit for the universal knowledge of the world, the cosmos of love and light, everything is perfect. Everything works out perfectly. Everything is perfect. Everything is transcendent. Everything is magical. There's no stress. I'm super zen. There's lots of pleasure. There's lots of orgasms. There's lots of joy. Everything is incredible. So why wouldn't I stay there? Well, because I'm human, and then I like to control things, and I have trust issues, and I got to work on it. And I'm continuing to remember to work on my shit and heal my stuff, and so that I can be in that flow more often. So one of the things that I have been very helpful for me is that I know what it feels like when I'm in the flow. When I'm in the flow, everything is easy. There is no resistance. My body is relaxed and comfortable. There's no rapid breathing or my heart increasing rate or increasing. And I'm not like, get out of my way. I'm not frustrated. I'm not like, why is everything so hard today? Everything is just easy. And when I don't feel that, I know, oh, Gaia, you're not in the flow. And the voice is very much like that. Hello, Gaia. Time to be in the flow. And I have this saying that I do. I'm like, be the stick. Float, float, bob, bob, float. Be the stick. Float, float, bob, bob, float. And I'll say that over and over again until I really visualize myself being the stick in the river. So this morning, so this is why we're having this conversation, because this morning I was having actually the last couple of days I've had a really hard time staying in the flow. I can choose to be in the flow, and then I'm there for a little bit, and then I fall out of it. And so I keep choosing it. So this morning while I was taking the dog for a walk, I was like, okay, let's go to the river, because clearly you need to actually have that energy of water and the river energy to help you remember to be the stick, be the stick, float, float, bob, bob, float, float. So I picked up a stick, and while I was picking up the stick, I talked to the stick and I talked to the universe, and I said to the universe of love and light and my guardians and my dragons and my fairies and all the powers that be of love and light that are in my world. And I said, universe of love and light, I choose to be like this stick. Float, float, bob, bob, float. And I threw it into the river this morning. And I said, by the power of this stick, and by the power of the river, and by the power of universe of love and light, and by the power of my desire, so shall it be. And I went and did my wild turkey, which is my way of the ending of my prayer. That's when the universe knows that I'm done. And so that's one way. So I can remember to be a stick. The other one is choosing to just take some breaths, take some deep breaths, get rooted in my ground, ground in my root chakra, do some Kegels, and visualize me being a tree. I'm connected to everything. I'm connected to above, I'm connected to below. I need all of the elements in order for me as a tree to survive. I'm part of everything, but I'm still, and I'm just allowing life to happen. I'm not forcing life, I'm not controlling life, I'm not making life. I am just allowing life to unfold. And so reminding myself, so there's be the stick, then there's be a tree, right? And I visualize my feet going right down into the earth as roots, and my leaves are reaching high into the sky. And that will also help me get grounded and be the conduit and be the vessel for the universe of love and light. And it helps me get me back in the flow. So those are two kind of tools that I have found incredibly helpful. Another tool that can be really, nope, that's all you're supposed to see. I'm in the flow right now. And the universe is like, no, that's all they need to know right now. All right. So, be a stick. Float, float, bob, bob, float. Be in the flow of all the knowledge and all the magics and all the gifts of the universe of love and light. And get out of your way. Get out of the way. So have a beautiful, magical, transcendent Thursday. Remember to share me with your tribe and your people. Please join the Transcendent Thursday list so that you can get all things magical from me. And please come check out divinealchemy.guru. We have some amazing magical programs to learn, to help you learn to how do you get connected to the universe of that knowledge that we were just talking about, universe of love and light's knowledge, the library. How do you get your library card, universal love and light library card? And how do you connect to it? So we have wonderful programs to help you achieve that. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.